totally different. He took the responsibility of penalty, took that away nicely, and suddenly that confidence enabled him to crack on. And I think he is a threat. I can understand why Askey plays him, because he's certainly mobile when he's motivated. He can run. This is a massive pitch. He can run into those channels, which Tom can't do. Tom is a very different player nowadays. He's almost become a box player. Bennett isn't. He will run the channels and hold the ball up for you, hopefully.
Michael O'Connor for Salford gets us underway here. There is a wind whistling around Vale Park this afternoon that is going to catch the ball at some few occasions. I said the floodlights will be on in a sec. They've just come on, actually. But you realise just how powerful that wind is when you just see O'Connor's gone long with the kickoff, and immediately that ball goes looking for Asante. Leon Legg does well, out muscles him, gets it back, clips it out wide left, looking for Worrell. Wiseman's missed his header. Worrell down by the corner flag on the left, puts the right-footed crosses in, goes looking for Bennett, headed out this time by the number 16 Jack Baldwin. The referee said though that Bennett fouled Baldwin, and it'll be a free kick to Salford. Just to run you through a few familiar names you might know of in the Salford team. Spent a lot of money, signed 6 players in January in the window. Kyle Leatherin is their goalkeeper, Scott Wiseman, Liam Hogan, Cameron Burgess and Ibu Toure their back four. Bruno Andrade signed in the January window. Michael O'Connor, another arrival, and Ashley Hunter on loan from Fleetwood, another one, with Jack Baldwin in midfield and Adam Rooney, who's their top scorer, the former Stoke City man, up front with Brandon Asante. And even more ominously, Phil Sproson, red shirts, white shorts and black socks. That's Man United colours.
Yeah, but look, Man United not having a great year this year, so
no.
Hopefully Salford won't follow suit. Well, follow suit this afternoon. But I think the conditions will be difficult for both sets of players. You ask any pro, current or retired, will tell you playing in the wind is the worst conditions you can play in. Take the rain and the cold, but the wind, it is very difficult.
Well, it can alter things dramatically, as now O'Connor dictating the play, finds Toure, who finds Hunter on the left. He's a tricky little player, the Salford number 45. He loses the ball though. Gibbons whipped it forward, intercepted though by a red shirt. Back to the goalkeeper Leatherin, and now Hogan, the captain, goes long out wide left. That's awful. It just flew out of play, and it's easy, I think, isn't it, to get a little bit starstruck by the fact that Salford are Salford City, and really they're a football team. They've got to win the game, haven't they? And they're not going to do it playing like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was a direct ball as a result of Tom Condon closing Hogan down and hurrying him into a ball that was almost a very, very poor executed pass. But both sides will want to get the ball on the floor and start to feel the ball and move the ball around a bit, because if it goes aerial, then with this wind it's going to make it extremely difficult.
Well, it did go aerial then, just as Phil was saying, keep the ball on the floor. David Amu and James Gibbons had a nice little interchange of passes. Gibbons clipped one over the top. The wind was against it, so it hung up a little bit. Amu made the run but ended up fouling Ibu Toure, the Salford left back, and the visitors have themselves a free kick right down by their corner flag on their left. They're kicking towards the bycars in this first. You can tell how bad the wind is here. It's awful. The corner flags are blowing a gale as if they might take off at some point.
I think Vale have actually got a little bit of the wind. It is swirling, but generally it's in Vale's. It's blowing towards the Hamel Road end.
Yeah. Well, Vale have got it now with Amu. Had a cracking second half on Tuesday night against Exeter. Has to go back to Gibbons. Tries to play the high ball. He's tried that a couple of times now, James Gibbons. It's asked a lot of David Amu, and neither time has it come off, and Salford get themselves another throw 2/3 of the way inside their own half on the left. Toure, the left back, over to take it.
It's interesting to see Salford there. They've set themselves up 4-4-2, a definite forward in midfield against our 3. So it's quite it's an old-fashioned way of playing, well, you'd say nowadays, but certainly one John Askey says he relishes when sides go 4-4-2 against the Vale. He feels that we have the upper hand, but I suppose we'll wait and see.
Well, so far the Vale have kept the ball well, apart from the odd occasion. Mitchell Clark there just with his first touch, racing forward, forced a throw off the Salford defender. Vale have got it. Clark himself will take it, this time right down by the other corner flag on the Vale left, kicking towards the Hamel Road end, goes back to Clark, right-footed cross into the box. Wiseman swings his foot at it and gets it clear. Brisley brings it down. He couldn't quite keep it under control. Will there be a throw to Vale? The referee said that Brisley didn't touch that. I thought he got a little flick off it. But the assistant referee said no, last touch was from a Salford player. Clark now with the throw. He's got Conlon short, who again first half didn't really do much against Exeter. Second half he was outstanding, snapped into tackles and dictated play. Gets the ball back from Clark, whips it forward, ball bouncing around. Again Bennett judged to be too heavy-handed there with a foul on Hogan, and it'll be a free kick. The wind is definitely making it difficult.
It is. I mean, Mitch Clark there tried to clip the ball up and got underneath it. His right boot got underneath the ball and made it very difficult for Richie Bennett to get anything on it.
Free kick now from Salford. Rooney heads it infield. Joyce gets there ahead of Asante, but it only goes as far as Hunter on the left. A bit of trickery there to take it away from Amu, level with the edge of the penalty area. Hunter trying to get it onto his right foot, rolls it back to O'Connor. Poor ball from O'Connor, and Burgess nipped in and stole it like a thief in the night. And Burgess is still going here. He's outstripped one and another, and he's played it through, and it might fall for Bennett. Can he get on the end of it? But the goalkeeper Leatherin is out very, very quickly at Bennett's feet to gather just outside his 6-yard box. But that was great work from Scott Burgess.
It was, because O'Connor, who Vale fans know well, was a bit lazy there. Heavy touch from Michael O'Connor, sent in midfield, and Burgess did well, as you said, picked his pocket, drove forward and was unlucky with a nice little reverse pass into Richie Bennett. But Hogan, the captain, the big number 5 for Salford, confident little cushion header back to his keeper.
Clark now with the header forward. Oh, awkward that one from the number 15 Cameron Burgess. Didn't really get a lot of purchase on that. Salford just a little bit hurried at the moment as Clark plays an intelligent ball over the head of Andrade. Ball whipped into the penalty area. Well, a bit of awkwardness there from, again, Burgess, who is big but doesn't look the most mobile of centre halves, and definitely doesn't look comfortable when the ball is anywhere below head height. He'd be a terrible five-a-side player. Again, the wind catches that long goal kick from Leatherin, and well, Leon Legg and Asante get into a bit of a tangle there. I think Asante was a little bit narked with Leon Legg for holding him off. Just used his strength there, didn't he? Well,
Leon did well. He used his experience, just got his body in between him and Asante, the 28 for Salford, and Asante just rolled on top of him. But it's one that it's something nothing. Asante was lying on top of him, and Leon went to just push him away, and Asante took offence to it. And now the referee's just talking to both of them, but there's nothing in it.
6 to 1 and half dozen to the other. That Vale have got themselves a goal kick though, but it was good work from Legg to keep Asante away from the ball. He's quite a stocky little figure, Asante, one of those players who my mum used to say he's got big calves. So and that's not to do with farming. Anyway,
he's a big lad. He's a
stocky little character. Bennett's fell over there as
the size of his shorts.
I remember Darren Beckford playing in a testimonial here a few years ago, and there was a call that went out for a pair of shorts for him. He's a lovely lad, but he put a bit of weight on.
I remember that night. I played in that game actually. It was Foyley's testimonial.
That was it.
And I think Dean Glover said he thought it was Luther Vandross that came in.
Well, there's no Luther Vandross here tonight. There's no songs yet just about. The Vale haven't done anything worth singing about at the moment. Here's Conlon trying to get there ahead of Wiseman, who boots it clear. Vale picking up on the ball now with Clark, intercepted though by Andrade. Set Hunter away down the left. 0-0 here. 8 minutes gone in the first half between the Vale and Salford. Flipped inside there by Hunter, looking for the run of Asante, who again is out-muscled by Legg. And one thing I've noticed there a couple of times is that Legg has just known where to position himself right to keep Asante away from the ball.
Leon's just using his experience well there. I mean, Asante's made a late run again across him, and Leon knew he was coming, and again put his considerable frame in front of him and the ball, and Asante will have to get used to that.
He's not going to let him have it all his own way. Hogan, beats Conlon in the air, but there was, I'm not sure whether or not, I think there must have been a foul there. Must have been. Couldn't see anything else. There was no offside flag went up. Salford have got a free kick, as I say, just over 9 minutes gone now, 0-0 here on BBC Radio Stoke. Myself, Phil Bowers, Phil Sproson and Lee Blakeman, your commentary team, as Gibbons is sent sprawling to the floor there by Hunter. Burgess away again now in centre field, rolls it inside to Conlon in the centre circle, tries to play a ball over to Warwick. It's a great ball actually by Conlon. Worrell took it on his chest. It was intercepted by Wiseman, who has to knock it clear out on this near side, but a great ball from Conlon, and Worrell just unfortunate he didn't get a better first touch.
I mean, a super ball from Tom Conlon. You know, he's starting off as he left off against Exeter second half. That was a really intelligent pass from him that just beat the fullback Wiseman, the number 2 for Salford.
Vale have got it back again. Clark, who's been steady so far in the opening 10 minutes of the game, gets it back, gets into the penalty area now. Mitch Clark puts the ball across. Oh, and Bennett was just inches away from connecting with it, but it was a good little run and cross there from Mitch Clark. Got behind the fullback, knocked it across goal, but Bennett just a whisker away from connecting.
Yeah, good work from Mitch Clark and Dave Worrell. Nice little combination. Worrell put him in. Mitch Clark drove to the byline, pulled it back. Unfortunately, no white shirt could meet it.
They look, dare I say it, more comfortable on the ball than Salford at this point, as they've tried to go long against Salford. Leon Legg again dealt with Asante well. That's a bit of a mess between Wiseman and O'Connor, and Vale have now conceded a free kick. It was Andrade who's been sent sprawling there by Joyce, who just reminded him exactly how capable he is of stopping him in his tracks when he wants to.
Yeah, Andrade did well there on the halfway line, let the ball run across his body, tricked Luke Joyce into a body check. Definite foul for Salford.
Ball over the top now, looking for Asante, who tried to bring it under control but trod on the ball, slipped over and out into touch it went. He's not had a good first 10 minutes or so, Asante. He's been out-muscled by Legg, and then when he's made a really good intelligent run, he trod on the ball and it scooted out from under him and went out.
Well, that was a great one. Him and Rooney split on the penalty box, and Asante made the run in front of Sean Brisley. I mean, what a great ball in from Hogan, the number 5 for Salford, just clipped into the box, and Asante thankfully trod on it. Could have done himself an injury there, yeah. But great run and a super ball into.
Vale have got their foot on the ball again now with Burgess as the wind kicks up again. Burgess out wide left now to Worrell, midway inside the Salford half. Clark on the overlap. Worrell measures the right-footed cross, catches under the wind. Goalkeeper came out for it a long way, got fingertips to it. It was a wild attempt to try and claim the ball by Kyle Leather and the Salford goalkeeper. He was perhaps aware of Bennett looming over him like an Imperial Star Destroyer, but couldn't quite get on the end of that one, and all he could do was fingertip it out.
Well, I think that would have to be said wind assisted. I mean, Worrell hung it up in the air and it was swirling. I thought the keeper Leathering did really well, as you say. Bennett was coming in behind him, but the keeper sensibly pushed it out for a corner.
If only there was a photographer to catch those type of saves. Oh, there is. Never on a five-a-side pitch. Worrell puts the ball in, headed out, powerful header by Hogan. Burgess has done well. He's done well again. Burgess with the curler. Oh, and it's just over the top of the bar. Great work from Scott Burgess. Had time and space to stop the ball, do a little Gazza Euro 96 flick over the fullback, get it onto his left foot, and then bent it just wide rather of Leatheren's right-hand post. But the Vale have just managed to get the hold on this game, haven't they?
They have, yeah. I mean, they are playing with a little bit of assistance from the wind, but credit to them that they actually are trying to get the ball on the floor, and certainly in midfield, Burgess and Conlon have got the measure of O'Connor and co for Salford. Certainly Vale are in the ascendancy.
Well, let's just hope they can capitalise on that, because so often Vale have had good spells and not scored. They need to do that today against a Salford team you imagine will get chances as the game wears on. Great work from Joyce there. Rooney was a little bit slow on the uptake, and Conlon though with a poor pass looking for a move, intercepted by Toure. Joyce has done well again, then gets fouled by Baldwin, and that is a free kick for Vale, and Joyce has done 2 pieces of good work there and drew the foul out of Salford.
He did, yeah, won the ball well and took it away from Baldwin, big number 16 central midfield player. Pulled Luke to the floor. He's getting a telling off by the referee, but wasn't a booking anyway, just a bit of a coming together.
14 gone here, 0-0 between the Vale and Salford on BBC Radio Stoke. That's Phil Sprouse and I'm Phil Bowers. Lee Blakeman alongside us as well for commentary on this game in League 2.
understand why a goalkeeper wants to take free kicks 5 yards from the halfway line. No, anything a goalkeeper is probably the worst technical player on the pitch, and asking him to put a pinpoint ball into one of our strikers is beyond me.
Well, he had a go, and it came off the head of one of the centre halves, and it's got out for a Vale throw. God, Crew, he never came that far off the line. Conlon's ball in. Walsall 1, Crew 0, an error of the featured game this afternoon on BBC Radio Stoke.
Well, Mark treated everything outside the 18-yard box as though it was mined.
I imagine you got a lot of shouts then, didn't you? Conlon rolls the ball into Worrell. Worrell's cross into the box, out by Hogan, who's dealt with a lot in the air so far. The Salford skipper, Clark, perhaps thinking about the shot, was thinking about winding up. He's picked out Gibbons. Gibbons might think about it. He's gone back to Clark. The two fullbacks are trying to pick out who's going to have a shot here. Neither of them do, and they poke it back out to Worrell on the left. Tries to ping the cross in, doesn't. Conlon does well. Holds off Wiseman. Tried to roll it back for Worrell. He'd made a run in the opposite direction, and it goes out for a Salford throw. But you get the feeling that the higher the Vale play up the pitch, the more uncomfortable Salford are.
Yeah, I mean, you can't underestimate how strong that wind is, and Salford do seem to be pinned back, but that's only because the Vale are pressing them so high, which obviously the management team want the Vale to do. You know, you've got to put the opposition under pressure, especially when they have the ball.
Bennett now looking for Worrell on the left. It's cleared by Wiseman. Salford, of course, set themselves up very differently from when they played the Vale earlier on in the season. They had 3 at the back that day when Vale got a 1-1 draw. But let's not forget they walloped the Vale 3-0 in the trophy just a few weeks ago. So honours even so far. Vale could do with a win though. Clark with the throw, midway inside the Salford half on the left, finds Worrell, back to Clark, gets it onto his right foot, puts in a cross, it's high, it's hanging, goalkeeper not coming, Bennett tries to get his head towards it, referee though had spotted a foul, I think, bit of manhandling there by Bennett on Burgess, the centre-back, and it's going to be a free kick to Salford.
Yeah, Mitch Clark looking for Bennett in the 6-yard box, probably put too much on it really for Richie Bennett to do anything with it. Had to foul Burgess to climb over the top of him, and I think Clark would have been better trying to just whip it in at about neck high really.
He's a different type of player to Montano when it comes to offering a threat when he goes forward, but he still does offer a threat, just a different kind of one. He's not going to bomb on and beat a fullback, but the quality of his ball into the box is good. Here comes Salford again with Toure now, trying to pick out Asante down the left. Legs gone with him again. This is where Asante will be more comfortable with the ball at his feet. Toure now back to Baldwin. Baldwin having a look to see who's the option is there. Goes into the box. There's Rooney. And he couldn't get enough purchase on it. And that was a dangerous moment for the Vale because the ball in from Baldwin beat everybody. Brisley leaned back to try and head it. Didn't get near it. Rooney ran in behind him but made a mess of the finish. And Scott Brown thanks his lucky stars that he was off target. Yeah,
I mean, super ball from Baldwin. Probably a little bit too much room there. Scott Burgess wasn't close enough to him, and Baldwin looked up, saw Rooney making a little run off Burgess's left-hand shoulder. Absolutely fantastic ball in from him, and as I say, it's probably surprised Rooney as well. At 6 yards out, for a player like Rooney, really should have hit the target there, but thankfully
Bennett, that's an amazing ball from Bennett, back to goal about 40 yards out, finds Worrell, knocks it into Clark, rolls the ball across, couldn't beat him at the near post. It's all got into a mass of legs and arms and legs, and eventually it got cleared. Not the best of header from Legg though, as he tried to play in a moo, but Hunter got there first. But again, good work, great ball from Bennett to play in Worrell.
It was, I mean, that was, you know, totally out of character for him. It was an absolutely fabulous reverse ball from him.
And with his swinger as well, that was with his right foot. I don't think I've ever seen him do anything with his right foot other than stand on it.
That's what I mean, that's totally out of character for anything with his right foot, but certainly quality ball out to him on the left.
To Worrell.
Yeah. Worrell, yeah, it was Worrell.
You got them, didn't you?
Did, yeah.
Oh, Sage, it comes to us all.
I did too many balls at times.
Worrell again trying to get on the end of that one from Bennett. Can't quite get there though. 20 gone here. It's Vale 0, Salford 0 on BBC Radio Stoke. Salford have got themselves a goal kick. Worrell and Wiseman having a little battle down there. I think Worrell's got the better of him. One player we've not mentioned much, and we did this in the first half on Tuesday, is David Amu, because he didn't do much in the first half on Tuesday, and he hasn't done much in the first half so far today.
No, he hasn't. I mean, it's all happening down this left-hand side between Worrell, Clark and Bennett. Nothing's going down our right at the moment, but I don't think it's having any effect on us. I think we're doing okay.
Well, Bennett trying to get under that ball from Clark now as Salford clear their lines. O'Connor out, muscles Conlon, knocks it forward, looking for Asante, but Brisley was across quickly and heading it out. Didn't do anything complicated, didn't do anything silly there. Brisley just did it quickly and sharply and effectively, headed it into touch. Salford throw, level with the edge of the penalty area as the wind gets up again and starts blowing all our stuff around the press box. It's a good job of nailed the kettle down, otherwise we'd have had trouble with that. Wiseman knocks it back now to Hunter on the Vale right. First real opportunity for him to run down the flank. Gets the ball in. Joyce at the near post deflects it out and wide for Salford's first corner.
Yeah, good work from Hunter. The number 45, the one on loan from Fleetwood, got away from Mitch Clark and Worrell down this left wing. Half a yard, whipped the ball in near post, and thankfully Luke Juice on the 6 yard, making obviously just defended the hole really in front, the space, conceded the corner.
Salford now with the set piece. Asante is in front of Scott Brown. Burgess is being dealt with by Leon Legg. It's whipped in. It's an awkward looking one. Burgess half cleared, Bennett half cleared. Finds Burgess and now Amu. What can he do with it? He can give the ball away to O'Connor. Conlon's done well to get it back. It was hauled to the floor, but now Vale on the break. Bennett tried to get fancy and play it through to Amu, who was away to his right hand side, but he didn't manage to get enough purchase on it. It was deflected out, and it'll be a throw to the Vale just short of the halfway line on the left.
It's a bit tricky that on the edge of our own box, and Dave Amu got his feet all tangled up and nearly presented Salford with an opportunity at the 18 yard line, but thankfully we managed to scramble it away.
Vale now with another throw just inside the Salford half. Puts it high and long up towards Worrell. Does Clark. Nearly found Bennett, booted clear by Burgess. Back to Clark again, short ball to Conlon. Conlon forced back towards his own goal by O'Connor. Brisley, well, agricultural, perhaps the best way to put that, boots it out into touch. I think there's a few drops of rain swirling around in this wind now as well, and with 22 and a half minutes gone here in the first half at Vale Park. Port Vale 0, Salford 0 on BBC Radio Stoke to take you through to half time. Phil Sproson and Lee Blakeman.
I'll be honest, I don't know if they're raindrops or really fine pieces of litter blowing through the air. They're absolutely everywhere here. The wind is unbelievable. We have effects microphones and boom microphones to help pick up the crowd here. And we've got to have them on low, because if we had them at the normal setting, we would just sound like we were in the middle of a hurricane. It's phenomenally windy here. We're using phones and programs and tablets as paperweights as Salford come forwards, inside left to the edge of the area, ball forwards, and Brown had to do well. It wasn't the greatest shot in the world from Bruno Andrade, but Brown had to come and claim it, otherwise Rooney would have had a tap in.
Well, Andrade got himself free on our right hand side and hit a left foot shot that was more of a cross come shot, and Rooney nearly got on the end of that, but Scott Brown, good left hand touch.
Great run by Clark, tried to feed in Worrell, ball just got away from him. But I have to say, Phil, I've been watching the opening quarter of this game just sitting next to you, and Mitchell Clark, it's like he's never been away.
Yeah, he's enjoying himself at the moment, and Andre, the wide right hand side player playing against him, is not tracking him at all, and I think it's no coincidence that they've switched wins. Hunter now has come across this side, the 45, and I'm sure that Salford will be aware that Mitch Clark does like to get forward, so they were looking to block him off.
In the battle between League Two's top two, the top team has struck first. Swindon 1, Exeter 0 at the county ground. Andrade down the left. It's Asante, sorry, they've switched, haven't they? Sorry. I just had that pointed out to me as well. But they're over on the far side now. Toure, low ball in. Defended well by Joyce at his near post. Had to put the ball behind for a corner a few moments ago. Not the first piece of decent defending we've seen Joyce do today. Burgess in the midfield, clips it to the left to Worrell, who's been looking threatening, huffing and puffing. Can he blow the Salford house down here? Maybe. As he cuts in from the left, low ball towards the D, cleared away by Salford again. Rooney will pick it up. Andrade's in there, and Conlon's penalised for a foul on Andrade, and it's a Salford free kick midway inside their own half. 0-0, and as the minute turns to the 25th, we've got a round of applause and a standing ovation here as his name appears on the screen for Jordan Sinnott, who lost his life last weekend, the son of the former Port Vale manager Lee Sinnott. Everybody inside the main stand and indeed around Vale Park rises, they're on their feet for somebody who's been remembered at all the fixtures this weekend. He was remembered at Pride Park last night for Derby Stoke, but he's got a much closer connection to Port Vale Football Club because of the stint that his dad had here as manager. And just listen to this. And hear the applause going all around the stadium. John Askey and Graham Alexander both joined in as well, the two managers. Dave Kevin on this near side too. Lost his life 7 days ago, did Jordan Sinnott. Wonderful round of applause as everybody retakes their seat again here at Vale Park, where the scoreline is still Port Vale 0, Salford City 0, but it's Asante now, edge of the area, rolls it back to Rooney for Salford. Ball played in by Hunter, cleared away by Gibbons, and now Bennett, is he going to get penalised for a foul on the edge of the centre circle? Yes, he is, and it's not the first time today we've seen Richie Bennett be a little bit clumsy, but at the same time on Tuesday we saw him be just a little bit brilliant as well, so it evens itself out.
Second, I mean, it was a game of two halves literally for all Vale players, I think, on Tuesday evening, but Richie Bennett in particular was, for me, was awful first half, but second half he was far better, got his penalty and scored a good second goal, but he's certainly put himself about, which is nice to see, against a good centre-back. I say Hogan is impressing me, the number 5, the captain for Salford. He's a good centre-back him. Yeah,
Liam Hogan that is, as Ibu Toure, the left-back, stands over this free kick on the edge of the centre circle. Big game in League One, Portsmouth 1, Sunderland 0. Toure's delivery is poor, dealt with by Bennett inside the D, and then a snapshot from 25 yards from Andrade was so high and wide it nearly landed in dimensions.
Yeah, for all the huffing and puffing, you look at Salford and you know, take it with a pinch of salt, but I think they are suffering with the win more than what we are. I mean, I don't think we're suffering at all as a team at the moment. I think we're playing quite well, but I think Salford are feeling the worst of it out there. But so you look at the Salford side, and yes, there's one or two names out there that have probably cost a bit of money and wages as well, but no, I'm not so impressed with them at the moment, apart from Hogan, the 5.
Joyce as well in the centre circle, sends Conlon on his way, and then he in turn tries to do the same thing to Worrell. Passes a little bit heavy, Worrell goes sliding to try and keep the ball in play, fails to do so, and it goes out for a Salford throw in their right back area. 28 on the clock, 0-0 here over on DAB and 1503 medium wave. Crew still a goal to 0 down at Walsall. Just looking around us here, you've got people wrapped up in scarves, such as the temperature this afternoon. Phil Bowers is just putting his mean-looking Batman-style leather gloves on. Nigel Johnson, who's here, sitting to my right, on Super Bowl weekend, is wearing my Philadelphia Eagles bobble hat as well. It suits him, down to the ground too, the green and white.
It's a very impressive leather jacket that Nigel's got on as well. I do like that.
It looks a very warm leather jacket as Clark rolls it infield. Conlon, Worrell, ball over the top clock and make a good run too, but Salford were wise to it and clear it towards Asante inside the centre circle. 5 for the season so far for him. Reverse pass, chase on between Andrade and Worrell. Brown comes out of his area left side and clears the ball out for a throw in on his unfavoured side there, Scott Brown. Maybe he'd have been better leaving it to Worrell.
Well, you know, he'd made a decision to come out there and he was going to always have to deal with it. The worst thing he could have done is back off into his box and let Worrell deal with it. So I think Scott did the right thing.
Asante, is that a foul by Joyce? No, says the referee. Can Conlon go sliding in? He can. Can he win the ball off Michael O'Connor though? No. Salford forwards, Brisley away again, held up by Bennett. First touch is heavy, but he's done well, and he's beaten his marker. He lost his footing though. It wasn't a foul by Cameron Burgess, as some supporters are claiming. Bennett had done the hard bit, brought it under control, beat his marker, but then he just lost his footing at the key moment, otherwise he'd have been through.
Yeah, he just snipped it away from Burgess there, and it looked a really good bit of skill from Big Richie, but lost his footing. And Vale fans are asking obviously for a free kick, but from where we were sat, you could clearly see that Big Bennett had just lost his footing there. The referee got it spot on.
Big Bennett nearly chimed then, but not quite. Ball over his head. 7 for the season so far now, Richie Bennett, following those 2 on Tuesday. Level with Jake Taylor. Only Tom Pope with 8 has scored more in all competitions. Leg inside the centre circle here in a battle with Asante. And Asante's come away with the ball. Inside left, he's got support at either side of him. Rooney inside the area now. He's going to wait for this cross towards the near post, and it's just gone wide via a foot from Brisley, I think that was, and it's behind for a Salford corner.
That's top central defending work from Brisley there. Great work from Asante. The 28, a little striker for Salford, got away from Leon Legg, drove into the byline, slipped Andrea away, whipped ball into the box, but Brisley followed him all the way 6 yards out. Good central defender work.
0-0 the Vale and Salford. Corner swung in, but it's gone out. Brown had claimed it anyway. Elsewhere, Cheltenham 1, Morecambe 0. And in the Premier League, big goal for West Ham, who are hosting Brighton today. Issa Diop's got it at the London Stadium. West Ham 1, Brighton 0. 14 to go until half-time here. What do you make of what you're seeing, Phil?
Yeah, I think that Vale have settled into the game better than what Salford have. They've got a little bit of a threat, as we know, up front with the two, Asante and Rooney. But overall, I think Vale have dominated, especially in midfield. I think we've got the measure of O'Connor and Baldwin in there. We're certainly pressing them down. Bennett's putting himself about. Worrell's a threat with Clark down this side. I do think we are assisted by the wind, but we've got to take advantage of it.
Mitchell Clark in the centre circle, right-footed ball forwards, looking for a move. He's been anonymous, as Phil Bowers said earlier in this first half. Ball cleared away by Toure at left back, high on halfway now. Asante in a battle with Legg. Only Legg's going to win that one aerially. Ball comes back at him though, and he deals with it with his right foot too. High down the right side, and Moo leaves it because he was returning from a position that was offside. And Salford will build again. Fulham 3, Huddersfield 0 now at Craven Cottage in the Championship. Elsewhere, Birmingham 1 down at home to high-flying Nottingham Forest. Ball comes at Brisley here. Is he going to get penalised for a push on Asante, who seems to be everywhere at the moment? The two 28s coming together, but the ball rolls through to Scott Brown, and the referee says play can continue.
Yeah, the referee got another one right, because Asante just ran straight into Sean Brisley there, and Sean could do nothing but stand his ground.
He's done okay so far, hasn't he? Neil Hare from Cambridgeshire last took charge of the Vale for the 2-1 win at Northampton at the end of March, the game in which Tom Pope scored his 100th Port Vale goal. 7 reds, 102 yellows in 30 games for this official so far this season, and he seems like a guy in control today.
Well, you don't want to tempt fate, but the referee's certainly having a good game. He's not, he's not card happy. He doesn't stop the game when he does feel the need not to. And he's got I think to me, he's got all the decisions spot on.
Joyce's free kick from inside the centre circle. Bennett wins the flick, and it goes straight behind for a goal kick. It's Sport on Saturday from BBC Radio Stoke, bringing you 2 live games because Stoke went down 4-0 at Derby last night. Today on DAB and 1503 medium wave, Walsall leading Crewe by 1-0. And here, no goals and not really too many signs of a goal at the moment between the Vale and Salford, but the best chances have certainly gone Vale's way.
Yeah, I mean, I think Vale have been on the front foot more than what Salford had. They've shown a little bit of initiative going forward, but no more than what we've done. Mitch Clark has broken into the box a couple of times and sent a couple of nice balls across the box that we can't connect with, but it's fairly even, Stevens. But having said that, I think we were slightly on top.
Here come the Vale. Good work by Joyce to find Burgess to the right to Amu onside, but he's being marked tightly by Toure. He'll do well to beat him here if he can dig out a cross. He's trying to turn Toure inside out. He does deliver a cross, and it's headed away from the near post by Burgess for another Port Vale corner.
Well, that's the first thing that David Amu's done for how many minutes we've been playing?
33.
Yeah, it's the first thing that he's done. I mean, he's turned and faced his full-back, looked at him, dropped his shoulder, dinked past him and whipped across in, and the 15, the big Burgess, the big central defenders, headed out for a corner. So welcome to the game, David Amu.
Phil Bowers was on. I know the word he'd be using, the word of the day on Sports on Saturday. That was tantalising from David Amu. It's going to be a corner from the Vale right, which Worrell will swing in. It's floated in towards the 6 yards area. Miscommunication at the back by Salford, involving Liam Hogan actually, but the ball's eventually cleared, and Asante will dribble clear over halfway. Gibbons has come over from right back to left back to try and stop him. Does well, beats into the ball and keeps the ball in play as he clears on the turn on his wrong foot. That was excellent from James Gibbons in a position that wasn't his own, and then Conlon's just been penalised by O'Connor in the midfield to win Port Vale a free kick. 10 out of 10 to James Gibbons though.
Yeah, good work there from Clark. Was it Clark or was it Gibbons there?
Gibbons.
It was Gibbons, yeah, great work from Gibbons there. Good ball over the top of Santi, what was after it, head after it, in deep into Vale's left back area, but Gibbons across did exceptionally well. Looked fainted to go towards Scott Brown and cut back on his unfavoured left foot, and we've got the free kick just about 10 yards, 20 yards inside our own half.
It was Gibbons covering for Clark, who was still tracking back from the corner. Scott Brown with the free kick here towards the edge of the Salford area, cleared away by Andrade, header won back by Joyce, goes straight out into touch for a Salford City throw. Salford looking to win 3 straight away games for the first time in the league. They've won at Forest Green and Cambridge over the last couple of weeks. Vale, of course, away at Forest Green a week on Tuesday. It'll be live on BBC Radio Stoke. Between now and then, Vale go to Northampton. 2 tricky looking games those on paper. And speaking of Forest Green, they've just drawn level in their game as well this afternoon. Forest Green, they're at Grimsby and it's 1 apiece. Here Salford play it forward. Rooney looked like he was offside there. Flag stays down. Rooney back to Andrade, edge of the area. Conlon tracks back and does well to just stop Andrade. Clark's over here too. Worrell's come out of nowhere. Back heel from Andrade. Conlon should clear. It's on his right foot, which is his left one, if you follow me. And Worrell clears out from the back. Header won by O'Connor though, but then that's a foul surely in the midfield. And it is on Scott Burgess, Vale free kick.
Well, Mitch Clark speaking to the linesman there, Rooney was clearly offside. I mean, we were bang in line with it, so you know what sometimes the linesmen get caught with looking where the ball is, where it's come from, rather than where the players are down your line. The linesman really should just be concentrating on the back 4 to see if a striker has advanced, but they get caught ball watching, which he did.
Big game at the bottom of the Premier League, and Bournemouth have struck first. Bournemouth 1, Aston Villa 0. Philip Billing with the goal in League One, which seems very tight from top to bottom. Coventry level at Bristol Rovers. In the Championship, Huddersfield have got one back at Fulham, but Fulham still lead by 3 goals to 1. And in the battle between League Two's top 2, it's now level at the county ground. Swindon 1, Exeter 1. Vale have it here on the halfway line with Joyce. 7.5 minutes to go until half time. Joyce forwards, too high for Bennett, volleyed clear that time by the right back Wiseman. Brisley heads it forwards rather awkwardly from the edge of the centre circle. He didn't know whether to go with his head or his foot, and in the end made a bit of a pig's ear of it. And here comes Andrade, who's back on the right again now for Salford. Crossed in, Brisley misses it, Gibbons doesn't. Very rarely does, to be honest with you. James Gibbons, ball up towards Bennett, nice layoff, and Gibbons is there again, carrying it over halfway, and Moo to his right. Amu, who's been all about quality and not quantity in this game, I think it's fair to say. Nice 1-2 here, more quality from Amu. To the edge of the area with 3 red shirts for company. Delivery was poor that time, and Salford will clear over halfway into the Vale half, 0-0.
Yeah, good work from James Gibbons again down that right-hand side, linking with Amu. Got him away down the right wing, and Dave, unfortunately that time, I thought he would have stood it up far post there, but went for near post.
Another big gust of wind goes through Vale Park here as the ball comes at Vale's back 4. Surely handball against Asante. Officials not interested. Referee was close by too. Ball work to the right to Andrade. Clark will get there first though. Nice alert defending by Mitchell Clark from somebody who's not seen a lot of first team football over the last few months. And the ball's now with Worrell on halfway. Mistake at the back by Salford. Worrell to Bennett, tries to play Worrell back through. It was too far ahead of him. Bennett didn't look to see where Worrell was, and the move breaks down as the keeper claims it.
Yeah, I mean, good work from Dave Worrell. Nicked the pocket there of O'Connor, drove into the almost the 18-yard area. Sent the ball, reversed the ball to Richie Bennett, and Bennett tried to replay the compliment, but too heavy.
We were talking about it being cold here. There's a game on at Boundary Park today. Goodness me. Oldham are winning though. Oldham 1, Bradford 0. They've just taken the lead. That is the coldest I've ever seen another human being. Remember Matt Sandos?
Matt Sandos, yeah.
New Year's Day.
Yeah.
He was as blue as my coat.
Blue.
Honestly, I thought we were going to have to send for a paramedic or perform an emergency move ourselves at one stage. But yeah, that is a very high, cold ground, that Boundary Park. This one nearly just as high as the ball's played high towards Rooney here. Caught offside this time by the assistant on this near side, and it's a free kick to Port Vale, and we've got just under 5 minutes to go until half-time.
Yeah, the linesman got that one right. Rooney and Asante both standing offside. An easy one for the linesman.
Sport on Saturday from BBC Radio Stoke. Remember, once we're done at 6, Richard Serling will be here with Northern Soul, and then 8 till 10 tonight, BBC introducing with Rob Adcock. We'll have reaction to this game and to the Crew game at Walsall. Crew losing 1-0 during praise and grumble between 5 and 6. High ball from Brown towards the edge of the opposition penalty area. Salford head clear. Joyce wins it back in the midfield. Bennett will give chase, but Hogan will calmly guide the ball back to his goalkeeper with his head, and you just give that a nod of approval again. Yeah, I'm impressed by him. I think he's probably one of the best defenders I've seen at this level. Certainly when he's dominated the back for them, certainly swept up everything that's been thrown at him. Good football again by Gibbons on halfway. It's Burgess with the cross now, just too high for Bennett to try and get his head on the end of that floated cross, and Salford will bring it clear with Wiseman to the edge of the centre circle. Asante, Wiseman continues to come forwards from right back. Thundering challenge going in by Leon Legg. Pinpoint had to be, otherwise he would have been penalised for a foul, but Leon Legg got that one spot on. Yeah, and he had to, because that was a good break from Salford. O'Connor well, that wasn't O'Connor, actually it was the two Wiseman who broke into midfield, played a 1-2 with Asante. It wasn't particularly the best layoff by the Salford man, but just allowed Leon Legg to have a bite, and bite he did. Good challenge from the big man. Two wise men, there might be something in that. Ball on halfway, good play by Burgess, rolls it back to Brisley, still in for Nathan Smith at centre half. Smith out with a hamstring injury which he sustained at Swindon last week, sitting just along from us in the main stand today. Actually, Conlon has been absolutely manhandled that time by Michael O'Connor in the midfield. Vale free kick taken quick by Worrell to switch it from left to right, needs a good touch from Amu. It's a brilliant touch from Amu, edge of the area, running at Toure, delivers across, he's looking for Worrell with the header towards goal. Oh, Bennett, how did he not manage to steer that over the line? Worrell headed it back across goal. Bennett was arriving late. Anywhere else and it would have been in. Instead, it went straight at the keeper. Well, that was textbook football from Vale. Super early free kick from Dave Worrell. Hit it a good 30 yards out to the right wing to Amu. Absolutely beautiful technique from David Amu. Brought it down on his instep, got away from Toure, the left back, whipped his cross in far post. Who should it fall to? The 5'1" Dave Worrell, far post, got away from Wiseman, cushioned his header back across the goal, and how Richie Bennett didn't push that over the line, I do not know. It was one of them where I had to pause because I was about to say 1-0. I thought it was in. I thought it was in off Worrell, and then I thought it was definitely in when I saw Bennett, and somehow the goalkeeper, right place, right time, was able to keep it out. Well, it seemed as though it was just an awkward height. It was like midriff height, and I don't know whether Richie couldn't get his leg high enough or get his midriff involved. Here come the Vale again though now. Burgess, he's been clattered. Ball to the right though is completed to Gibbons, so the referee's played an advantage. I'm not quite sure what the advantage is there, to be honest, but Vale will continue. They've got one now. Amu edge of the area with his back to goal, rolls it back. Cross is going to be whipped in by Conlon, too high this time for Worrell to head back across goal, and it's a goal kick to Salford with 90 seconds to go plus stoppage time. Good work from Vale though, pressing Salford back deep into their own half. Amu again becoming involved more and more, ably supported by Conlon that time. A bit too heavy from Tom, a bit heavy with that left foot of his, trying to get Dave Worrell in, but I say it's good work from the Vale. Here's a local transfer window story. Scott Hogan left Stoke City to join Birmingham, and he scored on his debut in the Championship as Scott Hogan, on loan from Aston Villa of all teams to Birmingham, who are level with Nottingham Forest at St Andrews at 1-1. Couple of goals to tell you about in the top flight, 2 big ones at the bottom of the table. West Ham have a second at home to Brighton. Robert Snodgrass has got it, and Bournemouth have a second at home to Aston Villa, thanks to a goal from Nathan Ake. Ball high on halfway here as we go into the final minute of the first half. Vale free kick inside their own half, and it's been a performance from Port Vale which has been solid without being spectacular.
No, yeah, I mean that's probably spot on. We've actually pressed Salford back. I do think it will be interesting. I'll ask a different question of us in the second half when they've got the wind, if this wind stays the same.
Ball headed on by Bennett to the edge of the area. Burgess tries to bring it down. All eyes turn towards the 4th official here. Good clearance by Andrade on the turn for Salford. Good header won by Legg. Gibbons with a little bit of time and space. He's not had much of that so far in this game. 1-2 with Amu. The return ball by Amu wasn't great. Gibbons goes in a couple of times trying to make up for it. Helped out by Joyce. Burgess turned into trouble, so decided to turn away from it. 1 additional minute at the end of the first half here at Vale Park. 0-0. Crew 1 down at Walsall. Elsewhere on BBC Radio Stoke, Joyce long down the right to Bennett, who had a great chance a few moments ago. This wasn't a great touch this time. He's miscontrolled it, and it's gone straight out for a Salford throw.
Yeah, heavy touch by Richie Bennett, going deep into Salford's left back area. Expected to have a better touch than that, hold it up. It's clumsy from the big man.
It's Phil Sproson with us here on BBC Radio Stoke alongside Phil Bowers and myself this afternoon. Referee's just taken a quick glance at his watch. Ball sent forwards from halfway by Gibbons. Worrell helps it on towards Bennett, who tries to get on the end of it on a stretch, but it was too much of a stretch really for Richie Bennett. Vale, they've looked good in spells. Amu, I mentioned him a few moments ago, barely done nothing, but when he has, it's been excellent. Have a sweet, Phil. That's the rustling you can hear as Boomer makes his way just past the commentary point in front of us here. But it's not been booming here in the first half at Port Vale against Salford. 0-0, but as I said a few moments ago, Phil, solid enough, the Vale.
Yeah, enterprising enough. When we had a good tailwind behind us, and we've used it to good effect. We've pushed Salford back virtually to the edge of their box, and we've caused them 1 or 2 problems. I mean, Richie Bennett's probably come closest from that lovely little cushion header from Dave Worrell across the 6-yard box that just was an awkward height for Richie. He couldn't get much on it, but certainly this afternoon, and I think every Vale player has stood up so far, and even David Amu's got involved at times down that right hand side. I do think he'll be a more I don't know, some Vale players that I've played with always enjoyed heading towards the bycars, and I think probably David's one of those where he enjoys this paddock, the support and the encouragement that he gets from these people, and I'm expecting good things of him this half. But it'll be interesting to see how we handle this wind defensively.
Referee Neil Hare, who curiously for a referee with that name has not seen any of his hair blown out of place so far this afternoon. Forward, Burgess just let it bounce. Bennett trying to bring it down, but again loses his footing and never really looked like he was in control of the situation there, Richie Bennett.
Yeah, you look at the footwear that some of them are wearing, and the modern boots. Certainly he's not the only one, but he has lost his footing on 2 or 3 occasions.
Well, David Amu has tried to get the ball under control, couldn't do it there. Salford hammered it clear. Interesting you say that. I've just noticed a couple of the Salford players have actually changed their boots. Baldwin, playing centre mid, who's got white ones on in the first half, has now got a pair of black ones on, and Hunter, the 45, who'd got a pair of orange ones on in the first half, has now got black ones on. So they've taken the steps of changing the footwear there.
Yeah, I mean the modern boots are a lot to be desired, and a lot of the lads now are switching to the more conventional boot with just a straightforward sole on them and the old-fashioned studs. This pitch, actually, it lends itself, apart from very early on in the season when it's rock hard, you need a stud on this pitch because it is soft underneath. It's built on a marlow, and that will never change.
Oh, you've just said something that my dad always used to tell me. You can never build on Vale Park, it's built on a marlow. He always used to, I haven't heard that phrase for ages. Here's Worrell now, trying to ping it through to Bennett.
It is, it's true.
I know it's true.
It is built on a marlow. And across that far left-hand side, there's a few bodies down there, actually, I was led to believe.
Really?
Yeah,
well let's not get into that now.
No, there's certainly some oil drums that were sunk down there.
Oh dear, what else are we going to find out today?
The Africa Queen, Humphrey Bogart, has been seen dragging it in the 80s.
Oh dear,
like a mud bath down there.
Well, it's been an eye opener today, if nothing else. Salford have got the ball with Wiseman midway inside the Vale half. We've had Gone with the Wind and the African Queen in the first 3 minutes of the second half. What next? If you've got a film reference you want us to try and get in between now and when Lee Blakeman takes over, please let me know. You're not missing anything here on the pitch because it's all getting bogged down at the moment. Vale not really getting hold of it, neither is Salford, as the wind carries on. Vale still, make no changes, as I say. I think the interesting thing for me as well, Phil, is that I think if you look at the way that this Vale team is set up, John Askey sometimes gets the criticism, doesn't he, of playing the one up front, particularly at home, but against a team that plays 4-4-2, he's getting a lot of joy there with the wide players putting pressure on the Salford fullback. Yeah,
I mean, some people get transfixed with the fact we're only playing one down the middle.
Well, Asante here is down the middle for Salford, and he's onside because Gibbons has gone walkabout. Asante now gets into the penalty area, tries to put the ball across. Brisley, though, stood up well, took a bit of a knock on his shin for the trouble, but Brisley did really, really well there because Gibbons had gone wandering up the pitch to try and support the attack, and one quick ball caught the Vale out. Asante was clear down the left. Brisley, though, tracked him well, deflected it out, but again, Brisley's done his job there.
Well, exactly. I mean, he did well first half, but that was an excellent cover. As you rightly said, we got caught on a break there, and Asante broke from virtually 20 yards inside her half and raced inside the box, and Brisley did well to first close him down and then make a block on the tackle, so it's a corner.
Whipped in, Brown struggling to get there, it's headed out by Bennett, the red shirt nearly gets there. Vale have cleared, here's Worrell trying to bring it down under control, but only half cleared. Worrell can't get there, and Wiseman boots it back into the Vale half. Bennett, who stayed back to defend.
Force itself into those white shirts, and it does push you back, and Salford were pushed back onto the edge of their area, and it's happening to us now, but it'll be interesting to see how the game goes on. That Scott Brown takes in, it barely goes over the halfway line.
Well, and you know how hard Scott Brown can whack those goal kicks. They very nearly end up in Burslem Park. As Asante and Leg get tangled up again, comes off a red shirt. Hunter, that's a really good ball. Asante's going to have the edge on him here. Scott Brown's got into a bit of a mess, and Asante's just grabbed hold of Scott Brown's shirt and pulled him to the floor. That's a foul. Leg and Brown, between the two of them, managed to clear up the danger, but again, one ball over the top has just put the Vale at odds.
Yeah, just one little ball clipped over the top of Leon Leg in that area of doubt. Scott Brown has come out well there, and Asante dragged him to the floor.
Said to a colleague at half-time as Amu tries to get the better of Toure, and Amu's done it, and Amu's tried the shot. It's been blocked, and the goalkeeper catches the deflected ball. It's Liam Hogan, who Phil spoke very highly of in the first half, who's cleared up there because Toure, out-muscled by David Amu, got his shot away. Hogan blocked it, and the ball ricocheted into the arms of his goalkeeper.
Well, Amu did really well there. A ball dinked over his head, I think, by Gibbo, straight into their box, and Amu held off Toure, the left back, really well, and got himself in between, and got to see the whites of the eyes of the keeper. But Hogan, for me, the centre back, has been outstanding for Salford. He came across very, very quickly and snuffed Amu out.
Joyce now looking for Worrell down the left. It's headed back to his goalkeeper by Hogan, who incidentally didn't start their 4-0 win at Cambridge on Tuesday. It was Nathan Pond, the former Fleetwood man, who started that game and has started quite a few of their games this season. Hogan, from what I understand, is not a regular in the team. So, and it's hard to see why with the way he's played today. He's been absolutely solid.
Well, he's got the captain's armband. I assume that he was probably a regular fixture. But, he's certainly been impressive this afternoon.
Brown, the wind has died down, so he gets a bit more distance on his goal kick there, Scott Brown. Hunter tries to kick it over his head and ends up booting it into touch. Forest Green have taken the lead at Grimsby. They lead 2-1 now. And Walsall have been pegged back in their game against Crewe. Crewe with an equaliser there. Daniel Powell has scored. It's Crewe, Walsall 1, Crewe 1 in our other featured game this afternoon here, 0-0, with 53 minutes gone at Vale Park between the Vale and Salford. Phil Bowers, Phil Sprosen and Lee Blakeman, your commentary team. Throw for the Vale. Gibbons halfway inside the Salford half on the right. Finds Burgess, who finds a move. Now let's see what he can do. Twists away from Toure, gets away from him and puts in the cross. Great work from Amu. Worrell's nearly under it. Is Bennett under it? Worrell gets clattered to the floor there by Hogan. Fairly, says the referee, and Salford clear. But again, Amu, who from being virtually a peripheral figure in the first half, has now come to the fore by really testing the fullback. And just when you thought he'd missed his chance, Phil, he got the cross away.
Well, he went to the byline there, and I thought he got no angle to get his foot round it. But did, and actually stood it up, and it was an absolutely fantastic cross from a move deep into the box. And again, that man Hogan held off Richie Bennett and powered his header away. But good work from David Amu down this right side.
Now that Amu has got his groove back, I was going to say his mojo, but I think that's an outdated term these days. You just wonder whether or not the time may come a little later on for Tom Pope to enter the fray, and if he's going to get on the end of one of those crosses. Worrell with the throw now for Vale, level with the edge of the Salford penalty area on the left, 0-0. Worrell gets it back from Mitch Clark. Worrell scoops it over the head of Wiseman, looking for Conlon, headed away by that man again, Liam Hogan for Salford. Very, very impressive he's been this afternoon, the Salford skipper. And Vale now have a throw midway inside their own half on their left from their clearance. There were chances in the first half, but not a great deal. It was mainly came Salford's way, but the best one arguably was Richie Bennett just before half time when Worrell headed the ball back across goal. Awkward height for Bennett, got something on it, but all he could do was just kind of shin it straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. Worked hard today, Bennett, but with very little reward.
Good ball that from Brisley. Big left foot of his, got ball over the top of Hogan. Sent Bennett away, but Hogan tracked him back.
Here's, well, Conlon trying to turn. Mitch Clark's done well here. Clark into the box, ricocheting across, and it goes in! And it is Mitch Clark on his return to the club, on his second debut, gets into the box. He wasn't going to be stopped, and he unleashed one, took a deflection on the way through. It doesn't matter, because the Vale are in front against Moneybag Salford. It is Port Vale 1, Salford City 0.
Well, that's great work from Mitch Clark down the left-hand side, raced inside the penalty box, got inside the penalty area, left foot, fizzed his cross across the box, and nothing a Salford defender could do but help it into his own line. But all the credit has to go to Mitch Clark there. Great little run.
Well, he wasn't going to be stopped there. I think one thing that came to mind during that run of Clark was perseverance, because once he'd got the ball, everybody stopped for a foul on Conlon that I think people wanted to be given. Clark didn't. He was alert, he stayed on top of it, he got into the penalty area and rode a challenge and then hit his shot, which I can't work out, Phil, whether or not it took a bit of a deflection. lumped aimlessly into the box, really. Came off Bennett, I think, Brisley, and just nestled quite calmly in Scott Brown's arms.
Well, it could have gone actually anywhere. Wiseman, the right back, got to our byline, whipped his cross in, and Sean Brisley swung his left boot at it, and it went straight into the arms of thankfully Scott Brown, but it could have gone in the top corner or over the bar.
Amu playing the ball back now to Gibbons, who head down takes off the Vale, got the bit between their teeth now. I think they feel that there's more goals in this for them. Amu hauled to the floor there by Toure. Referee says no. White shirt gets it back in Burgess. Vale got their tails up now. Good ball from Burgess to pick out Worrell. Great ball from Burgess to pick out Worrell. Worrell again down the left, puts in the cross, might find its way to Amu. It's just over him. He leapt like a salmon there to try and get on the end of that one and couldn't. Gibbons has done well and won it back. Great tackle from him, puts in the cross, and Moo let it run looking for Bennett, didn't get there. Conlon gets it back, Bennett flicks it on looking for Worrell. It might drop here for Clark again. Well, he definitely wants another, and his dipping volley just didn't dip far enough, and the goalkeeper Leatherin wipes his brow of sweat and frustration because he's under bombardment at the minute.
He is. They've been assaulted. Salford are. Vale pressing and pressing. Gibbo again down this right hand side with the move causing all sorts of problems. Absolutely beautiful pass by Scott Burgess, centre midfield, right footed, crossed the field, found Dave Worrell free, but Vale certainly pressing Salford into submission here.
Crawley 3, Scunthorpe 1 elsewhere in League 2, and it's now Oldham 3, Bradford 0. I think Bradford lost James Vaughan and Ewan Doyle in the transfer window, and now they're 3-0 down at Oldham as Andrade takes off down the left, but Scott Brown bossing his area out quickly as Andrade sprinted into the penalty area, but Brown out quickly with a safe claim for him.
He's been poor for me, Andrade, disappointing.
Well, he come with a big reputation as well, as Bennett looks to try and get on the end of that long kick. Worrell is up with Hogan, who wins it again. And Brisley just doing his best, just belts his way past Rooney there, and Amu. Oh, nice turn by Amu. Oh, Bennett nearly picked him out with the 1-2. Worrell's a mile offside. Surely there is a flag up. It's a wonderful finish by Worrell. It'll count for nothing though, because he was offside when the ball was played through to him by Burgess. The goalkeeper came out and Worrell just clipped it over him, I think more or less, Phil, just to show he could. Yeah,
he was offside there, but great work from the Vale. Crunching challenge by Brisley on the halfway line to win the Vale the ball. Vale certainly showing a good bit of form here.
I think the key thing in all this is that the goal has lifted the Vale. They played well without actually breaking the deadlock, but once that deadlock's been broken, their tails have just gone up and they're playing even better. This is kind of reminiscent of the second half against Exeter, as Conlon with a lovely ball to pick out Amu. Oh, it was a heavy touch from Amu though, took it away from him, and Toure gets it back now for Salford. Liverpool 2, Southampton 0 in the Premier League. Jordan Henderson with that goal on the hour mark. Salford try and hit it long now, looking for the run of Asante. Brisley gets under it and lofts it nearly onto the roof of the paddock, and it'll go out for a throw.
No, not his most elegant clearance by Sean, but certainly safe. The Vale defender throwing.
Salford now have it. An hour gone here. Port Vale 1, Salford 0. What was credited with an own goal on 54 minutes by Cameron Burgess, but I get the feeling that Mitch Clark, who'd done all the hard work to get that one into the net, will want to claim it as his own. Here's Hunter, puts in a low cross. Brisley, oh dear. Well, that was his right-footed clearance, and it nearly ended up going back over his own crossbar. Well,
I don't quite know how he did that, because he was facing away. Now he's managed to put it behind for a corner, but still, at least he cleared it.
Well, there's a small enclave of very vocal Salford supporters over on the far side, on the Amel Road end, and they are getting behind their team. Hunter now takes it quick, it's in, it's looking for Rooney, it's away by Bennett. Is it going to get back into the penalty area from Toure? No, it's not. Andrade takes the throw quickly, looking for Asante. Joyce trying to get the better of him, gets caught up in a tangle of legs, and it'll be a Salford throw.
You do feel that at some stage Salford are going to make a change, and a couple of strikers will come on for them and try and swill it round a bit.
Well, they do have two strikers on the bench in Luke Armstrong and Tom Elliott. Tom Elliott, of course, was on trial at the Vale a few years ago, but I think that season where the Vale just kind of forgot to sign any strikers, and he was one of them. His leg is bumped in the back by Asante, and he gets penalised. It's a free kick to the Vale. They did, of course, sign the former Manchester United striker James Wilson yesterday, Salford. He was signed in time for the deadline, but I'm told that his international clearance hadn't come through because he's been playing in Scotland. But listen to this. I've not heard that for a good long while, but the Vale are obviously doing enough to get the fans behind them. Brown now with the with the free kick up towards Bennett. Get the feeling that Vale might make a change at some point as well, and Cullen or Pope may feel like they're in for it as the goalkeeper comes out a long way to get hold of that interception.
Yeah, you don't realise what a really good ball from Brisley that was. Just dinked over the top and sent Bennett away, but that was a super ball from Shaw. I mean, he has sliced a few clearances away, but when he has a bit of time on the ball, he can clip a nice one into a front man, and that was an exquisite ball into Richie Bennett.
Graham Wesley will be a miserable man tonight, mind you. When is he not miserable? Stevenage 0, Leyton Orient 2, Southend 1, Lincoln 0 in League 1. Blackburn are leading at Middlesbrough by a goal to 0 as well. Here's a Moo now down the right, skips away from one and another. Took 3 players to take the ball off him there, David Amu, as Andrade tries to knock it down the right touchline for the Vale, but it's cleared by Leon Legg. Away this time by Burgess. It'll drop here for a white shirt, will it? Well, Joyce tried to knock Asante off the ball. He did, but the loose ball fell to Andrade. He's now running at Leon Legg, puts in a ball towards the back stick. Oh, and Clark just got there as Rooney was loitering with intent at the back post. It was a really good ball in from Andrade, and just as Rooney was waiting at the back post to poke it home, Mitch Clark nipped in front of him and knocked it out for a corner.
Yeah, it's the best bit of work that Andrade's done for Salford down that left-hand side. Lovely one touch, showed his pace down that left wing of Salford's, whipped his cross in, but Mitch Clark came across and conceded the corner.
Toure is over it, whips it in left-footed. Where's it going to go? It's going to drop for a red shirt, is it? Burgess scoots it over his head and got clattered from behind there, and I think John Askey is furious. It was O'Connor who just clattered into Scott Burgess. Tom Conlon is motioning over to the bench that Burgess needs treatment. Burgess just tried to clear the ball and O'Connor walloped him from behind. I think he kicked him across the back of his legs, if anything, but also had a bit of a dig in there. And John Askey and Dave Kevin, Phil, quite rightly furious.
Well, once the foul had been committed, we were on a break. Dave Waddle was away. I think David Amu had peeled away as well, but can't quite figure out who's actually down there injured at the moment. It's
Burgess who's down.
It's Burgess, but
yeah. And it was O'Connor who.
Well, a lot of the Vale lads were signalling straight away to the bench for he needs treatment.
Well, he's just given Michael O'Connor a talking to there, the referee Neil Hare. But there seemed to be intent in that, I will say that. Burgess is up and around. I think it was just a malicious foul, really. They are going to make a sub here, Salford. Tom Elliott, the former Wimbledon Millwall striker, is going to be coming on. Another one of their January signings, one of their 6 January signings. I think they're also going to bring on Richie Towell as well, former Brighton midfielder who played pretty well in the first game that the two sides met earlier on in the season. That's Salford. Couple of wicked free kicks, if I remember, so double sub from Salford coming up. Conlon flicks the ball on, looking for a Moo. It just ghosted away from him as Toure tries to keep it in play. It will be a throw now to Salford, midway inside their own half on the left. Toure now hammering it forward up towards Asante, beaten in the air by Brisley, but found again by Andrade. Tried to ping it through there to Hunter. He missed out on it, so did Conlon, and Mitch Clark can just let it sail out of play on the far side. And Salford now going to make that double change, I think. Elliott definitely, and Towell is the other one who's going to be coming on, an attacking midfield player, as Wigan take the lead at Elland Road in the Championship. It's now Leeds 0, Wigan 1.
I think it's for them. I think Hunter will be the man sacrificed. Andre seems to be coming more into the game for them.
Yeah, I think Asante might move as well, as ball is played in towards Asante. His shot was deflected again behind by Brisley as Salford wait to make this double change. Well, Towell, as I say, is an attacking midfield player. Elliott is a striker, and it is Asante who's coming off. He will pose a very different threat here, Elliott. He's a big target man, capable of getting in front of players and scoring goals. He's not the quickest, but he is certainly physically powerful and strong. He will pose a different threat to Asante. And it is number 29, Michael O'Connor, coming off to be replaced by Richie Towell. I think O'Connor may have been taken off before he got either booked or sent off there, because you could see he was losing his rag a little bit. And so first,
Elliott's a big lad up front. He'll be a different sort of threat with Rooney. Asante likes everything to defeat and to squat and to try and twist and turn, but has had no joy against Leon Legg.
Salford corner whipped in. Burgess at the near post. It's away by Conlon. Salford have it back. Again, great ball, pinged in. Scott Brown, just waited for it to bounce and drop into his arms, but it was a magical ball whipped in from the left there. But Salford now have got different threats on the pitch. You can already tell that he is a pretty big striker, and Rooney has now moved over to try and take Brisley for company, while Elliott is going to try and outmuscle Leon Legg, as Burgess is beaten in the air, this time by Conlon. Towell wins it back now. Finds its way to Rooney in the centre circle on the left. Out wide left now to Andrade. Andrade again. Taking on Gibbons, twisting and turning, getting away from him. Puts in the cross. It's a good cross as well. Legg deals with it at the near post. It lacked pace, if anything. Here's Andrade again, left-footed, whips it in. That's a great ball in, and it's Brisley once more to head it out for a corner.
Well, we've got to stop them crosses into the box, Phil, because Andrade now, as I said, he's coming into his own down this left wing, and James Gibbons has got to get closer to him and block the crosses off. It's been a couple of crosses now that he's been able to get his head up and look, and that's why they brought Elliott on.
Corner whipped in again, this time by Toure, and there's the header from Hogan, and you thought that he was odds on to absolutely bury that as he strode into the penalty area, leapt high, got above his man, but sent his header just over the top of the crossbar, and the Vale can consider themselves very, very lucky, as now John Askey is ready to make a change. I think just trying to see on the bench who it might be who's coming on. I wouldn't be surprised to see it might be either Tom Pope or Mark Cullen.
Yes, I think it's probably best if he switches it around a bit, but because certainly I shouted goal there. I thought Hogan had scored. I mean, he climbed so high over Richie Bennett, powered his head and just waiting for that net to bulge, unfortunately, but thankfully it went over the bar. But they are a threat.
Brown's kick now, looking for Bennett, who's been outmuscled there by Burgess, and Moo is offside. I thought he was just on there, thought he'd have played himself on. Now, if we'd got VAR in this, we'd have probably had a little graphic there to tell us whether or not a Moo was on or off. It is going to be Tom Pope who's going to come on for the Vale. Richie Bennett, I would think, would be going off very shortly as Kyle Leathern gets ready to take this free kick. 69 on the watch here at Vale Park. John Askey's team lead by a goal to nil. Port Vale 1, Salford 0 to take you through to full time, as this chance might come in here from Andrade. And it's missed by Towell as he strode across goal, dived in to try and get on the end of it and couldn't, and the ball eventually goes out for a throw. And now I can hand you over to Phil Sproson and Lee Blakeman while I go and have a lie down.
Yeah, I was going to say that's twice in the last 2 minutes. I thought that Vale were going to get pegged back. Crewe are 2-1 up at Walsall. Ollie Finney's scored there, so Pope is coming on. Crewe have come from behind to lead at Walsall. Walsall 1, Crewe 2. Pope replacing Bennett here with Vale just about 1-0 in front. Yeah,
just I hasten to say we're holding on, but we're not holding on, but certainly they're coming more and more into it, and Andre down this left wing is causing more and more problems for James Gibbons. I think James has got to either be instructed by Leon Legg, you've got to get tighter, you've got to try and block the crosses. It's no good standing off him, because he will dance around you and whip and he's put 3 crosses into the box now that how they haven't connected I don't know, but certainly if I was playing at the back with James, I'd be saying get closer to him, Gibbo, and stop them crosses coming in the box, get a block on him.
Goals across the divisions: Mansfield 2, Carlisle 0, West Brom 2, Luton 0, and Liverpool 3, Southampton 0. Mo Salah with Liverpool's third at Anfield. As Vale look for a second here, and Moo piles the pressure on Toure, but Toure had the answers and will be able to clear by finding Baldwin. He goes long, Elliott goes up for the header, loose ball falls for Toure and halfway, and Moo tracks back trying to stick with him, but it's still Toure. He's got support to his left, and he picks out Andrade here, edge of the area, whips in across. It's deep, it's too deep from a Salford perspective, and that one will be guided behind for a goal kick to Port Vale with 19 minutes to go plus stoppage time.
Yeah, but you can see the way that Salford are trying to play now. Knowing that Andrade down this side is getting some joy and is finding some space, and everything now is coming down this left-hand side, our right-hand side, defensive side. They're trying to attack down here, and we've got to stand up. And I think either Leon Legg has got his hands full with Elliott, the big number 11 that's come on, who's a match for him in height. He's really got to shuffle across a little bit and try and help James Gibbons out.
Brown's kick downfield, Pope wins a header which wins applause straight away. Worrell finds Clark, who will claim the goal if he's not getting credited with it already, because he played a key part in it. Went in off Burgess. We'll let the dubious goals panel decide that one. Gibbons clears sideways, roars in frustration as the ball goes out for a Salford throw next to where their manager is standing, Graham Alexander, as the ball goes in to this main Lawn Street stand. Sport on Saturday from BBC Radio Stoke. Port Vale 1, Salford 0, and Walsall 1, Crewe Alexandra 2 in our 2 live commentary games. Wimbledon have got one back at Accrington, but still trail 2-1, and it's MK Dons 1, Wickham 0 as well. Ball played forwards here towards Pope. Easy header away by Hogan. Vale with a throw in their right back area. Northampton away and Forest Green away follow this one for John Askey's Port Vale. 2 tough fixtures on paper, but as we've seen, Phil, already this season on multiple occasions, Vale tend to do it against the top teams.
They do. They tend to lift themselves against the top teams. Probably not for 90 minutes, but at some stage Vale will have their say.
Good play by Burgess, carries it to the right to Amu, who digs out across somehow. It's a decent ball, nobody waiting to meet it. It's going to fall here for Conlon though, dead centre 30 yards out. Strokes it to Clark, who's had an excellent second debut here. Cuts inside on his right foot, might fancy a shot. Here he does! This one straight down the throat to the keeper, but he got some power behind that.
Yeah, good hit from Mitch Clark, came on his right foot. Good shot from him, straight at the keeper of Leathern. It's a confident hit from the Loney.
He's transformed, Mitchell Clark, certainly going forwards while he's been away. Goodness me, he's been terrific today. A strong contender for the Man of the Match award. And Vale putting in this kind of performance with the likes of Manny Oyelike and Jake Taylor still to return to hopefully strengthen the squad even further.
Well, absolutely. You're looking at Mitch Clark. He's a man inspired today.
Brighton have got another one back at West Ham. West Ham 3, Brighton 2. Salford looking to equalise here. Ball from Elliott on the edge of the area is blocked and spins out for a Salford throw with 16 minutes to go. Floodlights on here in Burslem. Reddish sky though over on the far side behind the railway stand. Salford cross in from the right. Chance here, and it's a goal! And Tom Elliott's headed the ball in. Salford run away and celebrate. Vale wanted a free kick. They're not going to get one. And Elliott, the substitute, gets the header to make it Vale 1, Salford 1.
Yeah, couldn't stop the cross coming in from that left-hand side. Cross coming deep into the box, and Elliott rose high and powered his header in virtually unmarked. So, you know, he got in between Leon Legg and James Gibbons and powered his header into the top corner. Scott Brown's got injured, I think, trying to challenge Elliott, but certainly didn't look a foul to me. But again, it shows you the danger of not blocking crosses. I mean, yeah. Mike Pejic is probably the best, can explain better than anybody the importance of fullbacks stopping crosses going into the box. And you know, Mitch Clark, for all his great work going forward this afternoon and massive hand in the goal, you've got to stop those crosses going in. Your bread and butter is you have to close them down. I mean, they've been knocking on the door for about the last 15 minutes.
Well, we've got a problem here because Scott Brown, we thought he might have been fouled for the goal. Referee not interested in giving a free kick, but Scott Brown is down here. He's receiving some extensive treatment in his 6 yards area. Johnny Maddison has been warming up, Vale's substitute goalkeeper. We've got 15 to go on the clock with the scoreline Port Vale 1, Salford 1. And what Phil was just saying about crosses there's a stat in front of me here which says Salford have scored more from set pieces than any other League 2 team, 15 goals. That doesn't include penalties either. This one was from open play, but it's same kind of drill, free kicks, crosses. The warning signs have been there all day. Salford had 6 corners.
It's crosses. Andre down this our right hand side defensively has got behind Gibbons, and Gibbons hasn't closed him down quickly enough, and he sent 3 excellent crosses in the box that haven't been able to connect. And obviously Graham Alexander's recognised that and switched, took Asante off and put Big Elliott on, the big number 11, and he's come on and first touch he's powered it into the top of, I mean from the other side actually, from Mitch Clark's side, but great cross from Wiseman, stood it up far post and the big man climbed high, powered his header, and that's the threat. But you have to stop crosses.
Well, Brown's back on his feet, which is good news. Looks like he's going to be okay to continue after over 2 minutes worth of treatment, so we'll have quite a bit added on at the end of the game, which is currently level at 1 apiece. The Vale and Salford here on BBC Radio Stoke. Pope goes tumbling into Burgess and the referee comes over indicating a free kick for Salford. Praise and grumble to come between 5 and 6. 0800 121 8080 is the number you'll need if you want to get involved on the phones. Elsewhere in the Championship, big game at the bottom. Barnsley have got one back at Charlton, but Charlton still lead at the Valley by 2 goals to 1. Salford, this is ridiculous, taking forever to take this free kick. Goalkeeper Kyle Leathern in no hurry to come forwards. He does now, wearing all grey, launches it downfield. Vale deal with it. Burgess kicks it into his own face, sends it forwards. Hogan heads it away. Legg sends it back forwards for Port Vale. Burgess, that's Cameron Burgess, wins it for Salford. And now here they come down the left. Well played. Vale need to cut this ball out before it reaches Andrade. It was overhit, so it's not going to reach Andrade. It's going to go straight past him. And Vale will have a throw in their right back area. Anybody's game now.
It just shows you how goals change games. When we came back from Exeter, we saw that, you know, when we got the penalty, that goal actually changed the game completely because we dominated Exeter that second half. And at the moment, Salford have equalised, and their tails are up a little bit at the moment.
Ball out for a throw in next to Jonaski and Dave Kevin, taken by Toure, throws it to Hogan. Midway inside their own half, Salford. They go long here looking for Adam Rooney. Good header won by Brisley, who's looked impressive at times and looked a little bit rusty at times, but only came back into the side last week. That's a foul on Clark, and Vale have a free kick.
Yeah, free kick. Mitch Clark raced away from Rooney, and Rooney cynically caught his ankles, and I think the referee's going to book him for that. Quite right.
Yep, Adam Rooney, 8 goals for the season so far. He's going to have a yellow card next to his name now, put in the referee's notebook. And Vale will have a free kick inside their own half, which Mitchell Clark over on the far side will take it. He won it, he'll take it. Hits it long to the right, looking to win it in the air. Can't do so that time, the Vale. Baldwin wins it. Vale send it back forwards though, and Moo will give chase. How are Vale going to deal with being pegged back here? And Moo tried them, but it's gone straight behind for a goal kick. This, Phil Sproson, we talk about it all the time, a test of character, because when Vale scored and went 1 up, the tails were up. You could see that. They could have got a couple maybe. Now that they've been pegged back and have conceded, how are they going to deal with it?
Well, it's all about what Nigel Johnson said. It's all about concentration now. As a defender, you have got to be absolutely switched on and ensure that you stop crosses from the wide areas, and if crosses do come into your box, you've got to make sure that you connect to the ball. One of your central defenders have got to go and engage and win that ball.
Ball out for a Salford throw midway inside the Vale half, thrown to Ash Hunter, who plays it forwards on the turn. Rooney in a battle with Joyce. Joyce wins the header, heads it away, and Vale will get a free kick for a foul on Clark on the edge of the penalty area. Sports on Saturday from BBC Radio Stoke. Elsewhere, Crewe have come from behind to lead at Walsall. Walsall 1, Crewe 2, and what a scoreline this is in the Premier League. Brighton level at West Ham. West Ham 3, Brighton 3. Glenn Murray with the equaliser there. In League 2, Carlisle have got one back at Mansfield, but Mansfield still lead 2-1. And in League 1, Ipswich 0, Peterborough 4, while it's Middlesbrough 1, Blackburn 1 in the Championship. 1-1 here, the Vale and Salford. Gibbons long down the right looking for a Moo. Over his head, Toure will win it, and Vale will get a throw in as a result. Gibbons looking to take it, and looking to take it in a hurry here. Throws it short to Burgess. He's moving okay, having been clattered earlier. A Moo to Gibbons. A Moo's movement wasn't great there, so Gibbons has to just stall a little bit. Go back to Burgess, back to Gibbons. Gibbons just needs half a yard here to try and do something. Manages to find a Moo, but a Moo's caught daydreaming by the goal scorer Elliott, and he sprints away before finding Hunter wide right. The pass wasn't great, but Hunter's going to keep the ball in play using the full width of the pitch. Ball to the edge of the area. Salford with their tails up here with 9 minutes to go, and this game level at 1-1, and Salford have another throw.
Yeah, I think Mitch Clark has injured himself there. He's made a good tackle on,
sliding in, didn't
Hunter, but he seems a bit of discomfort. He overstretched. But certainly Elliott, the 11 that's come on for Salford, has made a difference to them. He certainly gave him a bit of a direction, and he's a big unit, so he's a good target.
Attendance is good today. 5,281. 310 visitors, so around about 5,000 Valiants here. But Mitchell Clark, you just wonder, Phil, with 82 minutes on the clock now, Mitchell Clark's obviously not played a lot of competitive first-team football in the league. You just wonder if that was one stretch too far for him there late on.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping it's probably just a bit of cramp for Mitch, but he certainly made a good tackle and overstretched, but it seems as though he's obviously got a bit of a cramp in that calf, which is understandable because 23's football. I think you two would be comfortable in it.
If only I was under 23, they were the days. Got a few grey specks of hair now. Mitchell Clark's back on his feet, hobbled off to the side of the pitch. And the ball goes behind for a Salford corner. They're 7th of the game, they're 5th of the second half. And as I said a few moments ago, they've been impressive from set plays this season. So they will need to be alert.
Yeah, you're right. They are a threat from set pieces. They seem to be well drilled and organised. And certainly with this Elliott on the 11, he's quite a size.
Short corner, whipped in, nodded down. Vale send the ball up into the air. It's still not cleared. It's being knocked around. Salford get it to the edge of the area. Vale with everybody back behind the ball here. 7 minutes to go, 1-1. Salford back in the centre circle with Wiseman. Vale under the cosh, having led. High ball forwards by Salford. Too long, thankfully, for the Vale, and it's a goal kick, and they can just regroup here, which is exactly which you think John Askey would want them to do.
Well, I think that you'll be saying that. You can actually see, you can feel it, that we're being pushed further and further back. Our back line now is starting to defend on our 18-yard area, and we've got to get out of there. Brisley and Legg have got to try and push a higher line and get us out.
1-1 on BBC Radio Stoke. Ball downfield from Scott Brown's goal kick. Comes back to Brisley. He hits it long. Amu will give chase. It's a battle and a half here between Amu and Torre. This time Salford will have a throw in by the corner flag. Amu has been in and out in this second half. We've seen some terrific crossing from him at times, but it has been a tough afternoon for him running against Torre.
Yeah, Torre has been a doughty character against him. He hasn't let him have it all his own way, and Amu will know he's been in a game.
Amu with the ball now, high towards Pope, cleared away by Cameron Burgess. Conlon on the edge of the centre circle finds Clark, who's moving just fine, and he's trying to accelerate away from Hunter. Hunter stays with him, goes sliding into him. That's a yellow card all day long, and it's a Vale free kick wide on the left, level with the edge of the Salford area. And there is the yellow card. Yeah,
Mitch Clark there, too quick for Hunter, gone down the line, and the Salford man dropped him to his knees and picked up a booking. But it's a good area for Vale, that wide on the left, just level with the 18-yard area. Good opportunity. I wouldn't have thought Conlon will take this. I'd want Dave Worrell with his right foot winging it in just between the keeper and that line that's holding on the penalty spot. Just aimed for that 6-yard line.
Yeah. Well, Conlon's moved away. Burgess is waiting on the edge of the D before going into the area. It is going to be Conlon all day long to swing this one in. 5 minutes to go, a big moment in this game with it level at 1-1. Worrell's delivery, high, headed away by Cameron Burgess. Back with Gibbons, who's in the midfield. Salford trying to get out, but just holding their line for a second. Gibbons over the top, nowhere near Pope that time, headed away. It falls for Conlon, who hits one from distance. We've seen him score from that range before. This time, though, it was straight at the keeper.
Yeah, good strike from Conlon with that left foot, but straight at the keeper.
Cambridge 1, Colchester 1 elsewhere in League 2. Is that a foul by Amu on Torre? Referee took some time in deciding before saying yes, it actually was. Cambridge are actually in front now. 2 goals in the space of 2 minutes. Cambridge 2, Colchester 1. And Morecambe have got one back through the former Vale man AJ Leach-Smith at Cheltenham, but it's still Cheltenham 2, Morecambe 1. 1-1 here, just over 4 on the clock. Crewe 2-1 up at Walsall. Praise and grumble to come. It's all happening on BBC Radio Stoke Sport on Saturday. Salford through ball, looking for Rooney, nowhere near him, hits one, and it's just wide of the bottom corner. It was a good technique from Rooney, but he had far too much time.
Yeah, good work from Hogan again, the big centre back from South. Salford nipped in front of Tom Pope on the halfway line, set Rooney away just inside our box, right hand side, nobody near him, Brisley not close enough, a right foot shot just whistled past our post.
Brown downfield, Salford have it back in the midfield though, and it's hit forwards by Andrade. Some work for the backtracking Brisley to do. Nice, cool, calm defending. It's applauded by the fans as well as he guides it back to Brown with his head. 1-1. Is there a winner in this game? Just seen a stat just alongside me. It says 50-50 in terms of possession. 1-1 on the scoreboard. Can somebody edge it though in the final few minutes? Hunter down the right. Ball got away from him, allowed Pope to nip in, but that's poor from Joyce. He just kicked it at Pope. Salford have it back. Ball forwards for Tom Elliott, the goal scorer, to chase after. Steers it to the right. Hunter with a deep cross, too high for Andrade. Comes off Gibbons' head, and Salford will settle for a throw-in on this near side.
Well, on that breakdown, that right-hand side, Salford poured men forward. There's two that broke the neck to get in the backs there.
3 minutes to go. Salford throw is short. It's back to Toure, who took it in the first place. He's going to come further back to Jack Baldwin. Cross. Brown stays on his line, watches it, lets it bounce, and then just claims it calmly. A little bit more calm than we were feeling up here for a second. Looked tricky.
It is. I mean, a right foot cross from Toure.
Long ball downfield by Brown. Pope underneath it, beaten to it by the defender. Ball high in the midfield area. Hunter comes out of nowhere to bring it down, but his ball forwards is poor, and now Clark has space to move into as he picks it up on the Vale left. 1-1. Worrell forwards to Conlon. Conlon with Clark overlapping, but Conlon says leave it to me. Runs forward, checks. Keeping it on his left foot, needs some help. Gets some from Worrell, who's back there. Ball played into midfield. Pope on the turn, might fancy a shot. You can see what he was thinking. Always going wide that time, asking a lot, but you never know.
No, worth an effort from Tom there, edge of the area. Turned on his favourite right foot. Dipping sort of volley shot, but not on target. But worth an effort.
1-1 on BBC Radio Stoke Sport on Saturday. Port Vale and Salford City. Goal kick taken by the Salford keeper Kyle Leatheran. Mitch Clark has been named man of the match. Played a key part in the goal. If he doesn't actually get credited with it in the end. He's done well defensively. He's going to have to do more work defensively here because he's got Hunter running at him. Hunter's beaten. Ball played in field. Salford, edge of the area. Clark recovers brilliantly. What a tackle that was. And then Vale come away with it. Burgess up to Pope. Back to Gibbons. And the Vale fans trying to encourage their team forward as we head towards the final minute. Gibbons tells Amu to get moving forwards. Poor ball in the end by Gibbons, but he didn't have much to aim for. Amu was basically standing in Gibbons' pocket.
It was. I mean, David Amu went short when Gibbo and Leon Legg wanted him going over the, and that's where you want him. You want him to come short and then spin and go over the top. But Vale wide man got it all wrong there.
Salford are getting ready to make their third and final change. They're going to bring on Craig Conway. Vale on the attack here. Pope's having his shirt pulled by Cameron Burgess. Assistant referee spots it, and it's a free kick to Port Vale right on the edge of the area right side.
Well, that's exactly what Tom Pope does well. He backs and backs into you and pulled the foul off the 15 Burgess, who's wrestled in with him. Too much for the referee's liking. Now this is a good area. It's just level with the edge of the box. That'll be a Tom Conlon cross. His left foot, I would have thought. He's left it to Dave Worrell, but...
And it'll be an outswinger if Worrell's going to take it.
Worrell's going to swing it out.
Here comes the fourth official. You'd expect quite a bit of stoppage time. 6 minutes, in fact, largely because of that injury earlier to Scott Brown, who has recovered okay. But key moment in this game now, as we move into stoppage time. Worrell with a free kick, 18 yards out, right on the edge of the area here. Plenty for him to aim for in the centre. The referee taking an age before allowing the free kick to be taken. Now he's giving a couple of people a lecture. One is Wiseman, one is Legg. Talk about overplaying your part. Crack on. It's taken him about a minute to give this. Eventually it will be taken by Worrell, who swings the ball in. Just too high for Conlon. It might fall here though, but Scott Burgess deflected through and deflected wide for a corner.
Oh, that's a good free kick from Dave Worrell. Whipped in. Salford couldn't deal with it. Went to the edge of the box. Burgess left foot shot. Took a wicked deflection. Corner. Worrell will take this.
We've had one of the 6 additional minutes. 5 more still to go. Lots of football to be played. Vale corner, which, would you believe, is their first of the second half. One apiece. Worrell with an in-swinger. It's played high, it's played deep, it's headed up into the air by Leon Legg and over the crossbar into the bicars for a goal kick. Elsewhere, MK Dons 2, Wickham 0 in League One, and Mo Salah's got a second, and Liverpool have 4 against Southampton. Liverpool 4, Southampton 0. Final change being made for Salford. Craig Conway coming on to replace Ash Hunter.
Yeah, Salford sacrificing the winger, throwing another one on.
What a comeback by Everton. We're 2-1 down at Watford, and Theo Walcott looks to have won it for them at Vicarage Road. 3-2. Watford 2, Everton 3. Mansfield 2, Carlisle 2. Mansfield were 2 up in that game. It's Rochdale 1, Shrewsbury 0 as well. Here it's 1-1. Crew 2-1 up at Walsall on DAB and medium wave. Praise and grumble on the way after 5 as Salford come forwards with Andrade looking for a winning goal. We've had 2 of the additional 6. Gibbons goes sliding in and Salford have a throw.
That's better from Gibbons. Good challenge from him that time.
On the byline now with Andrade, ball in towards the near post, dealt with by Joyce. Burgess edge of the area back to Amu. He will go long down the right. Pope trying to get there. Cameron Burgess beats into it in the air, and now Wiseman has space on the halfway line. 1-1 here on BBC Radio Stoke. Ball wide on the right with Salford. 3.5 minutes remain. They come forwards with the man who's just come on, actually, Craig Conway. He's got Wiseman in support, but Conway digs out a left-footed cross. Should be easy for Gibbons to head clear, and does. Pope can't get there first, though. Cameron Burgess sends it back forwards. Is he going to be kept in play? It is. Salford in the area, miscontrolled. Behind it goes for a goal kick.
Yeah, you're looking at this now. Vale settle for a draw. Would you settle for a draw for the start of the game? Take a point out of this. 3 out of Exeter. Point today, 4 points.
Yeah, if you look at the week as a whole, defeat at Swindon with Nathan Smith getting injured, you couldn't really have expected anything there. And then you'd look at these 2 back-to-back home games and think, yeah, a win and a draw. I think they've come the opposite way to which many would have expected, but it's a win and a draw as things stand nonetheless.
Yeah, it's undefeated at home again. It's you know, we've got ourselves in front. Look, good value for that, but we've been pegged back a little bit second half, and they've come more into it.
Joyce lost it in midfield halfway through stoppage time. 3 gone, 3 to go. Ball spins back towards goalkeeper Brown. Southend 2, Lincoln 1. A big goal towards the bottom of League One. That ball downfield. Pope wins a flicked header. Can Amu get there ahead of Cameron Burgess? No, not quite. Burgess clears out for a throw. Good flick by Pope.
Oh, good, really good. Got a glance on by Tom Pope, and Amu just on the back foot there. Didn't actually gamble quickly enough and allowed Burgess to 15, the other centre-back for Salford, to get in front of him. I think if Amu had just gambled, he'd have got there first.
Is there a late winner? Throw to Pope, flicks it on, cleared away by Salford. Brisley heads it sideways on halfway. Legg brings it down. Poor first touch, but we'll get away with that. Hesitates, nearly didn't get away with that. Goes long downfield. Headed away again by Cameron Burgess, who's been so dominant in the air. Conway has beaten Conlon to the ball, and we've got 90 seconds to go. Good challenge going in by Clark, showing why he's been named match sponsors man of the match today. Throw in Salford over on their right.
Yeah, I don't think there could have been any other candidate for this afternoon. He's had an excellent game.
Still has more work to do because Salford are coming forwards here. Andrade with Torre to his left, might go alone. Shot blocked on the edge of the area, and they all fell down from a Port Vale point of view. Burgess comes back to try and defend he does well. Turns away for 2 and then sends Worrell on his way. Now that he's got Pope to his right, he's going to pick him out. Worrell's been poleaxed. The referee's played the advantage. I'm not quite sure where it is because Pope had nobody in support. Worrell's still down. Gibbons chips it down the road. Gibbons puts it out. And I think Vale fans wanted a free kick.
Yeah, well, it looks as that. I mean, Worrell's done exceptionally well just over the halfway line. Tried to get Tom Pope away, but that's a heavy challenge on him.
Worrell gets up, holding his knee. Physio's come on. Did you show a yellow card there to somebody?
He's going to show.
He is going to now. There you go, yellow card for Hogan.
He's going to get it, yeah.
After all that, it will be a throw-in. Gibbons just hesitated with Worrell down in so much pain, didn't quite know what to do. Ball went out for a throw-in, so it is going to be taken by Salford and Torre in the 6 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's the right thing to do. By you didn't know how injured Dave Worrell was. It could have been a cruciate or anything.
back underway. Conlon high from halfway to the left, nobody there. Worrell trying his best to get over there. He's moving a little bit gingerly. Final whistle's gone at the Bescot. Walsall 1, Crewe 2. Massive win for Crewe, coming from behind at half time when Pete Moore said they could have been further behind. It's 1-1 here, and it looks like that's the way it's going to end. Praise and grumble to come here on BBC Radio Stoke. We've had the 6 minutes, we're into the 7th. Reaction from John Askey to come between 5 and 6, as well as David Artell. He's always got something to say, hasn't he? See what he's got to say today after another good win for the Alex. Referee takes a look at his watch. Salford throw. Referee puts the whistle to his lips and blows it. The final whistle goes.